Episode 8 of 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Love You has got to be easily the thirstiest and craziest and funniest episode of the series so far. I absolutely loved it. Now, I will admit that I was a little bit disappointed by the ending. I was hoping that Kusiri would have a little bit more to her story than just I make medicines and make people mad at me. It was pretty much my assumption in the previous episode, and it just kind of came to realization in this episode, which, like I always say, I don't really expect too much out of a harem ecchi comedy show, but this show seems to be doing a lot more than most do. But have to admit, I think Shizuka pretty much stole the episode. Every bit with Shizuka just absolutely stole the episode. It's kind of like the pool episode, where it feels like she's out of the picture for the most part, but she still steals it because her whole shtick was just absolutely cute, adorable, and just funny. I really, really loved it. But yeah, and we also, of course, get a very spicy scene between Hakari and Karane. I like how that kind of concluded, but yeah, the episode proper, the what they call it, Kiss Biohazard. I don't know why they still had to translate that. I think most Resident Evil fans at this point know that it is Biohazard. I mean, yes, it still is marketed in the West as Resident Evil, and I think that's because of licensing, but we didn't have to put Resident in there. It's just, we just call it Kiss Biohazard. We all know what that is. But yeah, the more crazy animation as they chase them down into the school itself. And I like the attention to detail because when they first run through the door from the roof, you have this moment where Shizuka just falls over. And Hakari actually stops and picks her up. And they go, I was like, at that point was kind of that hinting that, yes, technically, despite the fact that they are now Kiss zombies, they still act like they used to. They still take care of Shizuka, which I thought was super cute. But she's constantly banging her head on things and constantly doing this. It was super cute. But yeah, as they get on the stairs and they have this point where they kind of split off and try to pincer attack them. No, but first they ran into the teacher and have the face melting potion, which she was going to use on the rest of them. And he's like, don't use that. But it works on the teacher in order to remove her foundation. And she's like, oh no, the foundation blocked it. That's what you're concerned about. It's a good thing. She didn't die. I was actually expecting that when the foundation melted off, that like she'd be like gorgeous underneath, but she just doesn't realize how gorgeous she is. That would be a nice little punchline to it, despite the fact that she has the whole hanging thing going on. But yeah, they do the whole pincer attack thing, and he splits off, and then Shizuka just chases after him. I'm not sure how him going that way would prevent the pincer attack from happening, and just Shizuka follows him. That didn't make any sense, but still. Yeah, he's running from Shizuka and she falls over. And it's so funny to have that moment where the main character does the same thing that you would feel. Like, she falls over and he immediately turns around. Like, instantaneous, he turns in, like, protect mode. Oh my gosh, Shizuka, are you okay? Like, he instantaneously turns around and rushes over there, takes her to the infirmary, puts the patch on her head, and then she just attacks. It was super cute. I just loved it. I loved it. And yeah, the kiss scenes, man, they just super thirsty, kind of just kept going on and on and on. Kind of makes sense, the whole idea of the zombies attacking and they attack them. Like, even with Nano later on, it just kind of turns into like the final scene of a horror film where the cast scrolls and he's being chomped on. But no, I love that. I love the crap. No, wait, I gotta fix you. Hangs her up on the hanger and she's just hanging there saying chew, chew. Oh, it was so adorable. I loved it. It was so good. I loved it. I loved it. They just got it. I like how there's a couple scenes in this episode where it felt like it kind of drags out a bit too much. Like the kissing scenes kind of drag out a bit too much. But I like something like this that's subtle, where it's her hanging there and he leaves and it's just her. And it kind of drags out for the sake of showing you how she's kind of isolated and just stuck there. And that's what she's going to be doing for the next like 5 minutes. It was great. But yes, eventually he gets attacked by Hakari and Karane. Man, it was very great because this kind of goes back to how this kind of subtly showing that they're still in there, and the idea that they work together in order to take them down, and they take turns, but eventually, just like they usually are, they turn on each other. They start arguing in kiss language. And eventually he's like, oh, so they're still in there. Boop. And they just go at it. And it's funny because there's a side of me that, like, I follow the logic of Rintaro, where it's like, yeah, technically the two of them, they really like each other. They are technically his girlfriends. And so since they've kissed each other before, there's that aspect of like, maybe they actually like it as well. And so let's just have them do it. And oh yeah, by the way, they fight a lot, but that's because they're tough love with each other. And so obviously they'll accept this. Let's just push them together and they'll accept it. Okay, they accepted it. I was right. And it's like the narrator saying, I think he drew a wrong conclusion. I'm like, no, I think he did. It's just kind of showing that deep down inside, they're good with it. It's kind of a funny reaction there. And yes, technically later on when they finally get cured, them just talking about how, I don't remember a single thing that happened there. And it's like, yeah, you do. Kanane's like, yeah, I remember. Oh, wait, no, I don't remember everything. They had to like pry them off of each other because they were just stuck to each other. It was super good. It was super, super good. I loved it. Technically showing how much they like kissing each other over Rintaro. But yeah, eventually goes to the last boss, which is Nano, and ends up running into Kusuri. Now, this is the odd thing because I assumed that the whole idea behind what she's doing to have this bigger form of herself was a potion, was shrinking her. It seems to be implying the idea that the getting bigger is not her normal form. Like her form right now when she's more petite is her natural form. Now, granted, she did mention originally that her smaller form was a result of her trying to make a immortality potion. So maybe that's just her smaller form is the after effects of this one potion she made a long time ago, and the reversing only lasts so long to make her normal because it doesn't counter the full effects of the medicine she made before to make herself smaller, or at least immortality. So I guess it makes sense there, because again, my assumption is that her bigger form is her normal form. But yeah, she goes out there, ends up saying what her name was, gets captured, he runs off, gives her enough time for the potion to wear off, her get smaller. Later on, she says, I didn't... That's why they went away. I thought he used a medicine to melt the ropes. But no, she ends up going in there to get the potion while he's chased down by Nano. They have a nice little an obvious Shining reference where she busts through the wall and sticks her face in the door and says "Kishu Kishu" rather than "Here's Johnny." But like I said earlier, I like that whole segment where he gets attacked and it has like that, you know, horror film ending where it shows like she's chomping on him or whatever, which is actually kissing, and the cast scroll is going on. Even though, yes, I think it kind of went on for a bit too long. I ended up actually skipping forward because I'm like, okay, I get the joke. I get the joke. It's the cast scroll. I get the joke. Move on. But yeah, it all kind of concludes with, yes, Kusuri apologizing to everybody, saying that it's all her fault. Please don't hate me. She was kind of mentioning that when they were kind of trapped together. It's this idea of, you know, look, I messed up everything with my previous club. They all left me. I caused problems for everybody, so everybody left me. I love you, so I'll give up this thing. Like, I'll no longer do this thing. Just please don't leave me. I'll stop doing medicine. And I kind of like that. It is that idea of, on one end, it's Kusuri saying, yeah, I'm willing to give up this thing that I love the most for you. I'll give up this hobby, this thing that I enjoy. This is my life. I'll give this up because this is something that's more appealing. It shows how much love Kusuri has for Rentaro. I want you over this. If this will cause a problem, I'll give it up. And Rentaro's on the opposite side saying, no, I don't want you to give that up because that's the thing you love so much. I will deal with it. I will accept it. And I will fix it if you cause a problem because I love you so much. So it's a nice, cute little end to the whole thing. I did get a kick out of the fact that when that whole thing was going on and Kusuri was apologizing, she took nice attention to detail. She doesn't have Kusuri in her phone. So when Rentaro first made that app for her, he put in the back of it each one of the other girls' names in there, and plus himself, so that she can call out to them. So she could press a Kanane and it would do a voice to Kanane. But since Kusuri just joined them, she doesn't have that in her phone. So she presses Drug Master. There's like a somewhere in the book it's talking about a medicine maker or something like that. So she's using that instead because she doesn't have Kusuri in there. I thought that was kind of a cute little attention to detail. Now, it seems like every week now I have a translation issue that I really don't like. One of the biggest no-nos of translations that I hate the most is whenever there is meme translations or Twitch chat translations where they throw Twitch chat jokes or they lingo or memes into a translation that is, the meme itself dies in 2 weeks. People will get tired of the joke in 2 weeks. So putting the meme into the show that's permanently embedded into it when it sells Blu-rays or streams in the future really sucks. The second thing I hate the most is when they put other languages into the subtitles of another language. Like if you're on English translation and they put Spanish in there and I have to look up what that means in Spanish, that's not doing your job. But no, anyways, what that all leads to is, yes, Kanane seeing Rentaro say something cool like that, she says, "You look so Chad," or something like that. She used the word Chad. They translated Ikemen to Chad. And Ikemen is not a Chad. They are two different types of things. That joke doesn't translate that way. I'm informing the translator that either you don't know what Ikemen means or you don't know what Chad means. Ikemen is not a Chad. Ikemen's actually kind of the opposite of Chad. To be fair, not a polar opposites, but a very far off opposite of what a Chad is. Chads are typically like muscular and strong, and they take out things. Ikemen is like pointy chin and beautiful and almost pretty, like more feminine looking. It's something for a lot of shoujo. They want those pretty feminine looking characters. It's not Chad. Anyways, my complaints of translators that continues on through life aside, it was a good episode. I really enjoyed it. Cute seeing Kusiri just kind of excited by that whole statement, jumping into his arms. I kind of expected him to punchline it with her doing something with a potion at the very end that's like disastrous, but really cool. I think I kind of mentioned in the previous episode impressions, but I think Kusiri is a fantastic addition to the cast. She's chaos. I mean, granted, yes, the characters are all chaos, but she is absolute chaos. Because Hakari is thirsty and the shenanigans comes from that. Karane is, tsundere, constantly pushing back and abrasive. And then you have Shizuka is just kind of timid and cute. And then you have Nano is kind of logic and thinking things over and putting goofy logic into reality. Kusiri blows things up. That's the thing. She blows things up. She causes havoc because she changes things from being kind of grounded in reality to making it very sci-fi and twisted in a way. So I'm really looking forward to her in the future. And granted, we only have 5 episodes left, maybe 4 episodes left. So I'll be curious to see what they kind of conclude this arc with, or this core with, because they've introduced all the girls that are in the PV. So I don't know, maybe they might throw another character in there, or they're maybe just going to have an arc, something he's going to have to deal with for a period of time for the end of this one. But I'm really looking forward to it. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the thirstiest and funniest episode of the series so far. Really enjoyed it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure that like button down below, comment, let me know what you thought of the episode. Do you think Kusiri is chaos? Do you think she adds a great element to it, or you think it ruins it? But let me know. Additionally, if you're new to the channel, make sure that subscribe button so you get my content. I do news, reviews, first impressions, top list if it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you want to support the channel more, I have a Patreon link, tips link, super thanks, membership button down below. Greatly appreciate everybody that supports the channel. Y'all take care.